Hi, my name is Melissa Giles, and this video is about how you can use the 10 Commandments and Proverbs together to change the way that you think. Also, a continuation from part 1 and part 2 of this series. It's actually going to be 1 of 31, so just keep your eyes and ears open. So chapter 3 of Proverbs. My son, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. For the length of days and years of life and peace they will add to you. Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. So you will find favor and good success in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. He will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all of your produce. Then your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will be bursting with wine. And that's not just like tithing, that is honor your father, with some of the money that you make that you donated to charity. Some of the money that you make, you're helping a family or a friend without any kind of expectation of having it paid back to you. Giving it, giving thank you to the Lord for being able to make that money, and then doing something that God would do, going and feeding the homeless, for say, like I said, donating to a charity or doing something nice, in the line. You hear a lot on YouTube, or I don't watch television, but on the news or radio, that somebody was paying it forward, right? Well, that's giving praise to God, because that is money that you worked for the money, right? But all of it came from him. So the first fruits of all of your produce, then your barns will be filled with plenty and your vats will be bursting with wine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that, once a month, or, if you're able to, twice a month, or, I think you understand what I'm saying. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline or be wary of his reproof, for the Lord reproves him whom he loves, as a father the son in whom he delights. Don't get mad if he disciplines you. Sometimes it's definitely like, as you go to learn more of the 10 Commandments, and you can put them in with each chapter in Proverbs, and I believe almost every chapter begins with do not forget my teaching, and let your heart keep my commandments. My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments. And then hear, O sons, the father's instruction, and be attentive that you may gain insight. I believe each one of these all start with, trusting and believing his commandments, and his commandments are the 10 Commandments. So it's really important to understand that too. So, when you're not obeying those 10 Commandments, and he's constantly trying to get your attention to do something different, then you can't be mad at him for disciplining you, right? You can't despise his discipline when it's not him, it's us. He's just showing us unconditional love. Let's see here. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom, and the one who gets understanding. For the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. She is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Wisdom is like another form of joy. Because there is no worry, right? The 10 Commandments, and you're applying them to your life. No, God is like making them come into your life, and he's showing you the way, and he's making you, he's not making you, he's showing you your character defects. And as time goes on, as he keeps on showing you, because you're gaining that knowledge and you're gaining the understanding of who he is, then you're starting to think, wow, maybe I should change, you know? Maybe I should be working on this behavior or that action or the lack of that action or something like that. You know, as time goes on, he keeps on bringing that to you. And I promise you, he comes to test you. He said he will come to test you, and he does. I promise he comes, and he will say the thing that he will say in your mind is, go ahead and do this. You know? Go ahead and do this, or say that, or have this thought come out of your mouth, or this action come out yourself. You know, and it's not funny, but I'm not laughing because of that. It's just the way that sometimes he puts things, you know, but it's like, or however, you know, wisdom is, when we find wisdom, it's almost like also finding faith too, you know, because, well, we're wise people. We become wise people. You know, we make more sense, right? Especially when we're one-minded with God. You know, we make a lot more sense. Also brings you to faith, for sure. Long life is in her right hand, and her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who lay hold to her. Those who hold her fast are called blessed, right? The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding he established the heavens. By this knowledge the deeps broke open, and the clouds dropped down the dew. My son, do not lose sight of these. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, and they will be life for your soul and adornment for your neck. Then you will walk on your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. You will lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. I mean, like, no worries. Like, when you find actual wisdom, pure wisdom, like, there's nothing to worry about, you know, because you're one-minded in God. And the whole point, you know, like, wisdom is a tree of life. And then we are the tree. We are that mustard seed of faith, right? You know, so I have a diagram around here somewhere. It's the tree of knowledge and understanding, and then there's the tree of life. I have 3 trees somewhere. Anyways, I don't want to get into that because I don't know where my drawing is, and it's not coming off my tongue. So with that being said, I'm just going to move forward. And then you will walk on your way securely, and your foot will not stumble, because once you start gaining wisdom, you're understanding God more, and he's showing more. Not only is he showing you more, but you're getting it. You're starting to feel that change in your heart, you know, and you're starting to feel it in your mind, where you have peace, to where you don't really have to worry about anything, you know, not even the people that you're around. You know, there comes a time that when you start growing out of these people that you start to hang out with, that you don't want to be around those kind of people anymore. And it's not that you love them less or like them less, or that you're any better, because that's gaining wisdom too, is knowing that you're not better than anyone, even though you're changing. If anything, that we should be teaching them and praying for them, and not just closing the door on them. For God didn't close the door on them, and he didn't close the door on us through change. Some people just change quicker than others, and we have to keep that in mind. Okay, moving forward. If you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden terror, or of the ruin of the wicked when it comes. For the Lord will be your confidence, and will keep your foot from being caught. So if somebody were to come up to you and you have a drug addiction and you're already done, like you've been sober, you have some sobriety under your belt, and somebody comes up to you and says, hey, you want to do this? Like that for one, that's the Lord testing you. For two, it's the devil coming at you. And for three, if you're really set in the firm foundation of God and faith, and what this is talking about is wisdom, your foot will be caught. Like it's going to be like, really, why would you want to do something like that? And you'll hear that voice, and that would be of God. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your heart, when it is in your power to do it. So that's what I was talking about earlier with the one before this. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all of your produce. If you have the power to help somebody out, like friends and family, and you do it out of the goodness of your heart. So it says, do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to do it, or if you're owing somebody money, if you can pay them back, then pay them back. Do not say to your neighbor, go and come again. Tomorrow I will give it to you when you have it with you. This verse really stuck out a lot because I'd be like, oh, I don't have it. I don't have it when I did have it. But I was being selfish in the way of, I'm not going to give you my last piece of bread when I don't know when I'm going to get my next. And this one really stuck. I guess I must have had a really big problem with this one a long time ago. But this particular verse stuck out with me a lot when I became homeless. And it cured my thinking that way, like, what are you talking about? Like, why shouldn't you give that to this person? And it's true, and it still rings every time I want to say no to somebody who's asking me for something and I do have it. I don't say no, no matter if I have money, like I'll just, for instance, here in Austin, I don't have money here, or I haven't had money here, and those are before paychecks, and people on the street would come to me, and I know better, but nonetheless, like, it's okay, I didn't realize it until afterwards because that's not who I am. But, somebody would be standing there and say, oh, like, I need $1 for the bus, or $2, for the bus, knowing my situation, but just like testing me or whatever. And, that's cool. But I would act on it, and give them what I had because of this verse. Not because of their intention, but because of this verse. So that's what I have to say about that. Do not plan evil against your neighbor who dwells trustingly beside you. Do not contend with a man for no reason who he has done you no harm. Like if you're angry, don't go take it out on somebody that you don't know, right? Why go make somebody feel the way that you're feeling? That's not the right thing to do. You wouldn't want somebody to come make you feel the way that you're not feeling. It's huge in attitude. It's huge in the 10 Commandments, for sure, definitely, and commandment number 6. Do not envy a man of violence, and do not choose any of his ways, for the devious person is an abomination to the Lord, but the upright are in his confidence, and he will protect you from that as you start to learn his wisdom and his the 10 Commandments and the knowledge, and really getting to know God, because that's truly how you really get to know him, is by applying the commandments and these proverbs into your everyday life. That's why it's really important that if you're really looking for something different, that reading a proverb a day, not just like I'm saying, like reading a chapter a day. So today is the 12th. So today I would read Proverbs 12. And as time went on, as I was doing this, I've been reading Proverbs for a while now. Pretty much every day, consistently for about 3 years. So I'm going to say about 3 years. And it really helped me not only picking out the character defects, which was kind of hard. But however, in time, as I got to know God, then he would give me insight about how my day was going to go. So reading a chapter a day is pretty important, because the same thing will happen to you. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the dwelling of the righteous. Toward the scorners he is the scornful, but to the humble he gives favor. To the humble, like not reacting to somebody who's just being mean to you, not going back, not retaliating, if you will. Like your words are not going to be any stronger than their words, and vice versa. And this is a really hard thing to do. I'll give you an example here in a second. The wise will inherit honor, but fools get disgrace. So I was in a situation not too long ago, and this situation, there was a lot of people that didn't particularly care for me for a couple of reasons. But one of them was my Christianity, for sure. And there was a lot of things that were going on in my life at this time. And there was one point in time out of my control in the environment that I was in. And so, needless to say, the environment was when you're with somebody or a group of people for a great period of time, and it doesn't ever change, and people come in and then people come out. And during this time, there was a lot of people that came in that knew my situation, and I was egged on many, many times, and I didn't say anything because of Proverbs. I didn't say anything. I could have came back and, was sideways like I used to be, however, I chose not to do that because of these teachings out of Proverbs. And when we can humble ourselves to the understanding and then like what he's taught us, what God has taught us, right? He gives us favor for that. And well, with any commandment that we can obey, he gives us favor for that, because they're hard to obey, because we're people of this world. So with that being said, moving on to chapter 4 in the next video, just know that, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, making your ear attentive and wisdom, and inclining your heart to understanding, that's when you start having a relationship with God. That's when you start understanding him and knowing really what he's truly about. And believe me, he will test you. So with that being said, have a blessed day. Thank you.